Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sax, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sax.
Well, hello everybody. This is a new experience for us because we had some technical difficulties with the production studio up in Michigan. So we wanted to either cancel the show or do it another way, and so we're trying to do it another way. And I hope you're still with us because this is a special day. It's our anniversary. And so I decided for this anniversary show that Lauren would be someone you should know because she's somebody I've known for 47 plus years.
You've known her, but does anybody else want to know me? That's
Yes, they do. Of course they do. If they know me, they want to know you.
I am very honored.
Because you are me.
I'm very honored to be.
What was that line from?
You complete me.
You complete me from Maguire.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. You complete me. But anyway, just by a little bit of explanation, we are on Facebook Live. First time I've used Facebook Live because as I said, we had technical difficulties and couldn't connect with the production studio. So rather than just dumping out altogether, we couldn't postpone our anniversary because today is actually our 47th anniversary. So we wanted to spend it with you, and I wanted to spend it with somebody who
completes you.
is someone that I know and someone that you should know, because I'm not sure, other than some of you that are from back maybe in the Chicago area or South Florida that are tuning in and watching the show, you don't really know that much history about Lauren, and all I've pretty much bared myself on one or more of the shows here. So we thought we'd spend a little bit of time with you this morning and talk a little bit about the missus.
I'm really, really honored. Not sure that I'm worthy of this, however.
Of course, well, I'm in my 6th year of doing this show, and it's taken 6 years to have you on as a guest.
I like to keep a very low profile.
It was
You're
actually
the one that's in front of the camera.
Yeah, it was a little easier to get you on the show on Someone You Should Know now, because for the last few months we have been doing another show together, Opposite Saxes, which appears on YouTube and StreamYard and all these other places. Yeah, on Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Those are pre-recorded shows. We do them in advance and then post them each week. This one is live, so if we screw up, we screw up.
It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Pretty much
it's recorded because it's going to get posted later. Wanted to have a nice fancy background and all, and couldn't figure out how to do that. So you just got the two of us, as they say, in the raw.
Bearing our souls.
Right? Yes. So, the first thing I think you should share with the audience is, where are you from originally?
You mean they don't know that either? But no.
Some do. Most don't.
Born and raised in Chicago. Can't you tell by the accent? Everybody tells me I have an accent. I don't know.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
But you were born in Michael Reese Hospital, weren't you?
Michael Reese Hospital
it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And all, but that was right along the IC tracks going into Chicago from the south suburbs.
Right. Right on the lake. Lake Michigan.
And raised on the south side of Chicago.
South side,
from,
through and through.
From infancy to when?
Infancy to, how old are you when you're in junior high? I was in 8th grade, and about 4 months, I'll say 6 months away from graduating my elementary school that I had gone to for many years, Bryn Mawr Elementary, on the south side, and my parents decided we should move to the southern suburbs, which is about half an hour, 40 minutes from Chicago.
Yep, straight south down the Dan Ryan and I-57.
In a little place called Homewood.
Yep, Homewood, Illinois.
Homewood, Illinois. At least it had a stop on the IC, so I could take the train into Chicago to see my friends. And so, yes, and I started junior high at Flossmoor Junior High and went on to Homewood Flossmoor High School. And
which coincidentally is having their 50th high school reunion later this year.
Yeah, I don't say it that loudly. I don't even say 50. I just say my high school reunion.
It's going to be the 40th anniversary of her 10-year reunion. Does that sound
very
better?
Diplomatic, yeah. And then went to Southern Illinois University, which at that time was called the Party School. I don't know if it still is.
Well, it isn't because you're gone.
Oh, yeah, no.
You left and the parties were canceled.
This one never partied. I partied once, and once was enough for me. So that was...
And then about halfway through Southern Illinois, you were home for the summer.
I was home for the summer, and my parents said, we're just going to have some friends over for a barbecue. They're friends we've known for many, many years. Your father went to school and knew this gentleman and his wife, and lo and behold, it was your mother and father.
It was the Saxes.
Yeah.
And my father grew up with her father, and they had stayed in touch over the years, and they were having a barbecue, and
which I had been to your shoe stores, your parents' shoe stores, for shoes for myself.
Yeah.
But I didn't connect it when she said who was coming over.
Well, that's because there's another little part of this story, and that was that when I was in high school and in college, and all your mother and my mother would get together and talk on the phone or get together, and your mother tried to fix me up with your older sister.
My older sister.
And
it never worked out.
And it never happened.
No.
It never happened, and Linda went on her way, and I went on my way.
Right.
But then when I got back out of the service, I relocated back into the Homewood area to go into business with my parents, and that's when this barbecue happened.
Yes.
And her mother said to my mother, we're having a little barbecue, why don't you come on over? And my mother said, well, our son just moved back, he just got out of the Army, and he just moved back, and he's living in the area. And your mother said, well, I'll bring him along, because our daughter, number 2 daughter, is home from college, and they could sit and have a burger together.
I really think there was a little bit more planning that went into it.
From your mother's point of view, maybe there was.
Oh, I don't know.
Not me. I really wasn't. I wasn't.
You didn't think you were ready, but your mother.
I was playing the field at the time.
Yeah, but I think your mother also had a little something to do with it.
So how did that little barbecue go? I said,
I was dating somebody at the time.
Yeah.
That I should say.
And you let me know that.
Yes, I was very upfront.
I said, well, maybe we could get together and you could show me Homewood, show me the area. Maybe we could get together and go out for a drink or go to a movie. And you said, well, I'm kind of seeing somebody. And,
I did.
And I said, well, that's okay because I've been kind of seeing somebody too.
Somebodies.
Well, some buddies.
You were...
Because my roommate at the time had fixed me up with a couple of people, and I was just back from the service and back in the area, so I was kind of reconnecting with.
Yeah, you were just playing the field, having a great time.
Yeah, and you were hooked up with this guy, yeah. But this was in like late June, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. In fact, it was June 23rd. Yeah. Because
pretty much.
When the picnic and barbecue was over and everything, I said, well, I know you're seeing somebody else, but still I'm new to the area, so would you mind if I called you? We could do. And you said, well, I guess so.
But I said, but nothing serious.
But nothing serious. And I said, okay, I get the message. You know what? I didn't get the message. No. Because I called a few days later and I said, hey, I offered, you want to go out and get a get a soda, I'd get a soda. That's what we call it in pop. Actually, we
said
call it pop.
soda. Oh.
Well, because I didn't want to go right to go out for a drink. I didn't
Well,
know
I
when
do
you-
now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I do now.
And or a movie or so, and we did. We drove around a little bit. You showed me Homewood,
Right.
and that was kind of the second little get together, and I got fascinated. So I invited you out again, and then I think the next date was to a playground in the neighborhood near where you lived, over to
It's funny
to
how
Heather.
we remember things differently.
Wasn't it over to Heather Hill
It was,
Playground?
but it wasn't our second date. I think that was after our bar situation, our first date.
Which is an experience in itself, because our first date, there was this place on the south side in it was actually in
Chicago Heights.
Chicago Heights.
East
And
Chicago Heights.
Yeah, East Chicago Heights, which was not a real great place to be.
Even
you know, it
those
was-
all those many years ago.
Yeah, it was a tough neighborhood,
It was.
but there was this little tavern called Svoboda's, and the Svoboda family had just moved to this smaller venue from another location where they had had a fire. But the Svoboda family had collected calliopes, all kinds of
Tricks within their
machine,
bar.
yeah, all kinds of
restaurant.
Nickelodeons and all kinds of this old memorabilia.
Trickster seating.
Yeah, and pinball machines and things like that. And they moved it to this bar, but the one thing that was really cool about it was that the bartender, behind the bar, they had a series of buttons and switches. And for instance, if a couple people would sit down in a booth, all of a sudden you'd be sitting in the booth, and one side of the booth,
Right,
the bench would start to move out into
That's
the
what I
aisle.
mean about trickster seating. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably one of the most fascinating things about it was in the ladies' bathroom, they had a cigar store Indian, the old.
But tall,
yeah,
like 8 feet
right.
tall.
And he was wearing a little loincloth, and so in the ladies' room was this
Indian.
cigar store Indian with the loincloth.
Right.
Well, the loincloth had a wire attached to it. So if a woman was to go into the bathroom and just out of curiosity pick up the loincloth to see what was under there, it would set off whistles and bells and sirens in the tavern, in the tavern proper, in the main
But
room.
I knew about that one.
So
I've been there.
when a woman would walk out of the bathroom, sometimes it would be an hour or two, she would walk out and everybody would applaud because they all knew she looked under the loincloth. So that was the fun thing about Swoboda's. So I thought that would be a fun, good first date for the two of us.
For somebody that doesn't drink, that only drinks Cokes and 7-Ups.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
and I
That's
didn't
okay.
really know that, and I'm not much of a drinker myself,
no,
but
sure.
it was the ambiance
Right.
of the tavern.
Right.
So she said yes. I picked her up probably about 7 o'clock or 7:30.
Whatever. No, it was late. It was starting to get dark.
It was starting to get dark, and I was driving a VW Beetle at the time. And I pick her up, and we're on our way to Svoboda's, and you got to go through a couple of really dark areas. I'm talking lighting.
Dark streets.
And all in order to get to this neighborhood where Svoboda's is. All of a sudden, the VW Beetle is going, and it stops. Dark street, nothing around us. I run out of gas in a VW Beetle.
First date.
First date, which is almost impossible to do because a VW Beetle will run another 20 or 30 miles on fumes. But this one didn't. I was so, I guess, smitten
Oh, you're right.
and
Like, you
excited
didn't look at
about
the gas
going that I
gauge.
didn't look at the gas gauge. So here we are sitting in the VW Beetle, dark is setting in, sitting on the side of the road. There's nothing. That's what I'm saying. This was a main road, kind of. but there were no houses or anything.
Yeah.
But
There were houses.
kind of
but there were
up the street, I
houses.
thought I saw a gas station sign. So I said, I'll tell you what, you stay here, and I'll go up to the gas station and get a can of gas and come back, and we'll be on our way. And she says, no effing way am I going to
I
stay.
did not. I was a nice girl.
Well,
There was no evidence.
well,
Don't embellish.
maybe, but you were very emphatic, let me put it that way.
No, that I
That
was.
you ain't going to leave me in this VW Beetle
No.
on a dark road while you go trotting off
That's
looking for
true.
gas.
That's true.
So we locked up the Beetle. We both walked up to the gas station, and we borrowed a gas can with a few gallons of gas. Now I'm using up most of the money that's in my wallet right now, which was going to be for Svoboda's, to get this gas can full of gas and all. And the guy says, I need something, you got about, $20-$30 collateral for the gas can, which I didn't have. So I take off my Seiko watch. I remember
that.
the Seiko watch that I got when I was serving overseas. And I said, well, I don't have any, but how about if I leave my watch here as collateral for the gas can? Guy says, okay. So off we go with the gas. We go to the car, fill up the car with gas. Now you gotta kind of rock the VW Beetle in order to get the gas to go all the way down to the engine, which we did. And turn the key, car starts up. Now we drive back to the gas station. I'll give the guy his empty gas can. I get my watch back. Now it's getting to be about, 8, 9 o'clock maybe? And are we going to just go home? We're going to go to Svoboda's? Well, we're this close. We go to Svoboda's.
And we had a good time.
And we had a good time.
And it's amazing.
And that, as they say, was the start.
Yeah.
Because we met on June 23rd of 1973.
Right.
And 6 months later, June 23rd of, December 23rd of 1973, we got engaged. And that was an interesting story in itself. Do you want to say how I so elegantly proposed to you?
It was different.
Oh, to say the least.
It was different. And
What was I doing?
You proposed to me in our shoe store. At the time it was your shoe store. In the navy blue section.
Of the stock room.
Because stock rooms are divided into colors. And we happened to be, for some reason, I was in the navy blue section. I don't know what I was
The 4
doing.
section. 4 was a designated number for navy blue.
And you were there, and
And I opened up a little box and I said, would you marry me?
however, you really didn't propose then. You really proposed to me by your apartment, by the swimming pool. I could tell you what I was wearing.
You can?
Yeah, and it wasn't a bathing suit. Yeah, I mean, that's how I remember it. And I remember you talking, and you said there, would you marry me?
But it was June
Would
20,
you marry me?
December 23rd
But it was
in the stock
December.
room.
It was December 23rd. Yes, that the ring went on the finger.
Yep. And
Yeah.
then exactly 6 months later,
Right.
exactly 1 year after we met,
Yeah.
June 23rd, 1974, here comes the bride.
And they don't have anything for
And-
the groom, I guess.
And
No song for the groom.
and that's our story.
And that was it.
And it's been 47 years.
Yeah, and when they say that the time goes by, like it's in a blink of an eye, life goes by in a blink of an eye, it's really true. I don't know where it's gone.
Our son Jeremy was born in 1976, and our daughter Jory was born in 1982.
Correct.
And
With a couple of dogs along the way.
a
And
couple
bird
of dogs
and a
along the way.
fish.
Yeah, a lot of animals along the
Yeah.
way.
A few houses along the way.
Yep. And there's
But it's-
one grandson to carry on the Sax name, and not that many Saxes left.
But a cute grandson.
Yeah, cute grandson, who appeared on Opposite Saxes a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Liam was on our show. You can go to stuartsax.com and look through the shows and see Opposite Saxes and tune in. And we hope you will sometime.
Yeah, he's a cutie.
We had a good time on that show.
We did.
And so here we are, 47 years later. We spent the first 20 years of marriage in the South Chicago suburban area. We had five stores that we were involved with, a women's ready-to-wear clothing stores, and we had one independent store of our own, which we did not only women's high-fashion shoes, but we also got into the running shoe business too for a while. And ultimately the clothing stores that we were involved with, they were going out of business, and they were closing up the stores one by one. And as they would close a store that we had a leased shoe department in, our numbers would start to shrink, and we decided, well, what are we going to do? Just continue with this one independent store, open up more stores, and an opportunity came up to go to the Miami area to go into some business management with a cousin, and we decided to opt into that and move there in 1993.
Wow. And that was summer all year long in Miami.
Yeah, that was quite a change. I mean, we had to give up the heavy coats and the sweaters, except when we would travel back. But
and we did the same thing to our son and daughter that my parents did to me.
Did to you? We took them out of middle and high school.
That was very tough, especially
and it was a
for our
traumatic
son.
time.
Well, for both.
Our son
even more so.
He was going into his senior year of high school,
right.
And we had friends back in Illinois that said, well, if your son wants to stay with us for his senior year, he can stay with us and graduate from home in Flossmoor High School, which was Mom's alma mater.
Yeah.
He said, no, I'll go to Miami.
Because it's my last year with you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm going to college.
Yeah, and so he spent his senior year in Miami, and then went on to college.
Right, and Jory, I felt for her because I knew what she was going through, and it was tough for her.
And she said at the time when we got there, as soon as I graduate high school, I'm out of here. I'm out of Florida forever. I want to go back to Chicago.
And she did. The day that graduation was held,
she took the car
she was gone.
Off she went to Chicago.
Yep.
Went to college. Career. She's on in her third career and living right in the city in a lovely
something that we thought we were going to be doing.
Yeah. But we headed to Texas, where we are now, because our only grandson, who was on that program with us a couple weeks ago, they moved here when our son got transferred, and that was in 2013. So again, 20 years after going to Florida, we ended up here.
We ended up here. I was so touched that our son and daughter-in-law, Kristen, would ask us to follow them to Texas, because they were living in Florida too.
And we were
not far
betwixt
from
and
us.
between. Do we come to Texas to be around our son? Do we go to Chicago to be around our daughter? Well, our son said, we'd really love for you to come to Texas. And our daughter said, I'd really love for you to go to Texas. So that was kind of an no-brainer.
Well, because we wanted to be part of our grandson's lives. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to commute back and forth. People do.
Yep.
Many grandparents do, but we had the ability because we had talked about retiring. And
we talked about retiring for a long
and where do we go?
Time.
Where do we go? Should we go to Chicago? Should we go someplace different? And it was done for us. I mean, it just happened, and it was beshirt, as they say.
And we came to Texas, y'all.
Yeah.
And that's where we've been, and it's hard to believe that it's been 8 years.
Yeah, that we'll be here.
That we've been here in Texas already, but it's been a lot of changes, and for like a lot of you who have moved through your careers and your lives and everything. Well, when you leave one area that's filled with lots of culture
Friends,
and
memories.
friends and memories. You open a door to new places, and we moved to Texas, and certainly the area where we are, which is about a half hour north of Dallas, there's plenty of culture, sports, restaurants.
It's like being back in Chicago, but just a little further south.
Yeah. The only thing there's differences. You know,
Yeah, there's differences,
They
but
don't have the deep dish pizza of Chicago,
No,
and they don't have the delicious fresh seafood that we used to get when we lived in Florida.
no, they don't.
But they do got tacos,
They do.
and
Ribs.
lots of tacos and barbecue, and everybody smokes their meat. You can go out in the neighborhood almost any day and smell meat cooking and smoking, because sometimes it's on the grill for hours and hours and hours and hours.
It's a fascinating place. We've made lots of good friends, and we've been able to watch our grandson grow, who already is going into 6th grade. It's hard to believe. He was just a baby when we moved here.
Yeah.
And again, where does the time go? But then again, one door opens, one door closes, another door opens, and I think we've made the most of here in Dallas, Texas.
And the fun thing is to stay in touch with friends, and ever since I started doing these blogs and podcasts and everything, we've been able to get a nice following from our friends and family, and from all over the country. The pandemic, of course, while nobody really was thrilled about having to go through it, that opened the door to a lot of Zooming and reconnecting with people via Facebook, via Zoom, and staying in touch. And of course, now you used to go and stream concerts and meetings and get-togethers with people all over the country at the same time. And now that the pandemic is over and a lot of things are going back to live, now you wonder, how connected are we going to continue to be?
Yeah, it's strange. It's a strange feeling, like we just came from breakfast, and we went to breakfast without masks. It's very strange. At first it was strange to wear a mask. Now it's strange to be without the mask. But yes, everything's opening up. Churches, synagogues have had their services on Zoom. Well, that might stay, but that might go with some others.
Businesses, our son and daughter both have been working from their homes for a long time, and a lot of corporations we're finding now are reassessing. How much of this physical establishment do we need to carry forward, because some of our people can continue to work from home. You can have these meetings all over the world with people via Zoom instead of everybody having to go to the home office.
But there are quite a few corporations now that are requiring their people to come back to work. And there's a lot of discussion as to whether this is going to pay off or not. Are people going to get disgusted and say, I don't really want to come to work, spend all that money with gasoline and a car and the time in the car? Or do I just want to find another job that allows me to stay where I'm at, in my home or wherever, Zooming, because I can get just as much, if not more, done. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we moved here, and you've developed an absolutely amazing following with all of your broadcasts, with all of your shows.
Yeah,
So you've really made the most of your move.
That was really the upside to retirement. When we were in South Florida, it was like we would probably be there running the store forever. But then when our son was transferred, we always said, well, when are we going to finally close the door and stop working 6 days a week?
Funny how things just kind of happen together,
and it all happened, and so we are probably busier now than we were even when we were opening and closing the shop 6 days a week.
Yeah,
because we're involved in so many things.
Yeah, we are.
Working with nonprofits. I've been working with a few of the military organizations, a few nonprofit organizations, cancer foundations. We can volunteer our time. And every day we get up, the first thing we do is we look at the calendar on our phone to see what appointments do we have, where are we going,
We
what are we
haven't
doing?
quite learned the art of saying no.
Yeah, but we're working on it.
Yeah,
And did I say we've been here for 8 years and we're still working on saying no? Keep your hands in the pocket when they say, oh, we need a volunteer to help with this. You know,
Well, we've taken many little vacations. We've taken car trips, shall we say?
right.
I think I think we need to work on a vacation.
We have the freedom
With you
to travel.
and me.
I am not a flyer. I do not like to fly. And that's the upside to being retired. You now do have the time, instead of having to fly someplace to spend 3 or 4 days. You take 2 to get there, you spend the 3 or 4 days, and you take a couple days to get back home.
Which I guess is why you like cruising so much when we don't go on a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, in Texas, you don't just say, let's just go take a little short drive over to the next town, because
No.
the next town could be 4, 5, 6 hours away.
But that was fun. We've done that a couple times now. And we had a good time doing that, seeing the sights, seeing what Texas has to offer.
Exploring
But
from the ground.
yeah, it would be nice to just get on a ship and sail away for a bit.
Come sail away, come sail
But
away.
you're busy, and I have to be back for a show.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
usually go someplace from Thursday until Tuesday, because
Yeah.
I got to be back for the shows on Wednesday, because
But when
those are live shows.
They're live shows, but
The other
you
ones are
haven't
recorded.
subscribed to what other people do, and that is Zooming from wherever you're at.
True.
Yeah,
I'm working on it. I'm working.
it's very slow.
But that's part of understanding and getting together over 47 years.
That's true.
And
You just-
that's been, I mean, I will admit right here live, I sometimes am not the easiest person to live with.
no.
Yes.
No.
And you've told me so, and you know it. And
Well, but who is? Everybody has a little something. No, everybody has a little
you're
something.
pretty easygoing.
I don't let you complete sentences.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. So what I started to say, or what I wanted to say, and she'd say, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. But I got my, what that I found about this lady is that she can remember the details. Like she said, she remembers what she was wearing when we got engaged. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
Well, I might not remember that. but-
Women and wives have a tendency to remember details. And it's not just details from last week or last month, but from 7, 8, 10 years ago, they remember details. And she will say to me, well, don't you remember when we were here and we were doing this? And I go, no. Well, I do. And women remember everything. Men forget everything.
Well, it's not really.
So that means women have an upper hand.
Well, I don't know if that's what it is.
Because it's hard to carry on an argument with you when you know all the details and I can't remember them.
But there's other things men do that women don't do. Now, for me,
Other than peeing standing up?
no, that really wasn't what I was thinking about.
Okay. Well, that detail I remember.
But look at you. Look at all that you have achieved in the short 8 years we've been here, with all of your shows and your nonprofits. I think it's wonderful, and I'm really proud of you
Well,
and impressed by you.
and if I turned it into money, we could probably go out for a couple of burgers.
But you don't think about that. You just
But
think
that-
about what you've achieved, the goals you've achieved, and what you've done. I, on the other hand, have stayed home, and it's given me time to get closer to Liam because I can be with him and stay
Yeah.
with him occasionally. Or I keep a very clean house. I mean, it's either one of these. There was a time I was in business, and we did that. I did that for a little while, and
Well,
at this point?
when you retire, and I've said it multiple times, and most people in the audience that are watching the show know that I've said that when you get to retirement, it's not the end of the world. It's actually the beginning of a new world. And what you do is retirement is a great time to just say, what are the things that I always wanted to do that I never had time to do? Go fishing, go camping, go sightseeing, go walking,
Right.
go bungee jumping, whatever those things are that you always wanted to do. Now you've got the time to do it.
And for me, a lot of that was spent a little bit in business, but going to see my mom,
Yep.
who has, like all of us, steadily aged.
Well,
But
I don't know if your mom is steadily aged like we have.
yeah, she's incredible.
She's the Energizer Bunny at 100 years old.
But she used to live near our daughter, and so
Yeah.
I would see both of them, and now she doesn't. She lives in Florida, and so that means an extra trip to Florida, which is great because then I get to see my sister and brother-in-law and my niece and my nephew and my grandniece. But, so for me, I've kicked back more. You have been steadily working. I've been socializing.
Although
and
when
seeing
we got
relatives.
here, we closed our retail businesses in Florida, and we were here for almost a year. And Lauren still had the itch for something in fashion. So we contacted some of the brands that we used to carry in our store, and we thought, well, maybe we would represent those brands on the wholesale side here in Texas. And we did it for a while.
We did. We
and-
had a good time. I had a good time.
but it wasn't.
Did well, but
it wasn't retail.
Right.
It didn't have the closeness with the customers and
Right.
all. So we gave that up, and then you opened up a little small boutique on the side
Right.
for a while and managed that.
And that was a good time too. But again, it wasn't developing relationships between vendors and customers, and it wasn't the same. So, but it was great. It gave me an insight out as to how the fashion industry works here in Texas. I did meet a couple of very good friends through the wholesale world,
And you've
and
kept in
I've
touch
kept
with
in
them.
touch.
Yeah.
So, what can I say? I think we've done good.
I think
I
we've
think
done
we've had
we've
a
done
good-
okay.
good run.
I posted this morning, our anniversary on Facebook, and I mean, social media. When we got married, what was social media?
Yeah, it
it was
wasn't
getting
much.
together and getting in the VW Beetle and going out for dinner. That was social media. Didn't have computers, didn't have cell phones.
No, well, we were just starting with computers when the kids were
Just yeah.
when in high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
when
we
we
didn't have
got
it.
married,
No.
it
was a
social
telephone.
media was a telephone.
Yeah.
And it was a dial
Yeah.
telephone too.
Right, right. Or beepers. They did have some beepers
Yeah.
at that
Remember?
point.
Does anybody remember beepers? If you're in the medical field, you probably remember beepers because they were heavy in the medical field. And then the beepers led to the cell phones, which were the size of a brick to begin with, and then they get smaller.
And small.
And then you remember we had the cell phones that you had to flip open and then pull the antenna up, and you were always going like this to get out of the way of somebody's antenna when they would
That's right.
turn.
That's right.
And I mean, now you can use your watch and, hello, how are you? Oh, yeah, okay.
Times have changed.
For older people that have been married for 47 years now, my own personal opinion is that technology is moving a lot faster than our generation can absorb it. So when we have a problem, who do we call? Our 11-year-old grandson, because he knows everything about the computers and the cell phones. He just got a cell phone, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Kid's a master at the cell phone, showing you how to save things, forward it.
There's cell phones, there's computers, there's books, there's guides, there's everything you need when you have problems or you need to have a question answered in this world. But when we were dating and when we got married and when we were raising a family, we didn't have all those guides. We didn't have all those books. We didn't have Sirius radio with psychologists on. We had none of that. So all of it was fly by the seat of your pants.
Well, there was
and
a
do what
little
you
more
can do and
personal
be the best you
interaction.
can be. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. But if you had a problem, or there was no guide to parenting, just like our parents didn't have a guide, and the parents before didn't have a guide. Now there's a little bit more of that. There's, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, we went out for breakfast this morning for our anniversary, and we all, I don't know if you noticed it, we always complained about whenever we go out for restaurants, everybody's sitting at the
I
table
noticed.
and they're texting on their phone.
The minute we
you're waiting for the food to come to the table, and so we say, don't people talk to each other anymore? All they do is just they're on their phones, they're texting. I gotta admit, we sat down waiting for our food to come to the table this morning, and we were planning for this show this morning, so we were.
Well, and people were texting us, wishing us happy anniversary, and so, yeah. What can I say?
It is what it is.
Well, we've had a fun time, and I hope that there's many more fun times ahead.
Yeah, it's been a great 47 years, and I'm glad you finally decided to be a guest on this show.
Oh, well, thank you.
Because you are someone you should know.
I don't know.
Someone I've known a long, long time.
I think you're a little biased. But that's
I am.
fine.
I'm very, very biased. I'm very proud.
Aw.
Very happy.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, okay.
So we wish all of you a very, very good day. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. Also a shout out to two very important people in our lives, to Christine Dean, who is the DFW networkingdiva.com. She can help you if you have any questions about increasing your business, redesigning your website. Go to dfwnetworkingdiva.com. And our other good friend is Irving Chung, who is a franchise consultant. You can reach him at bigconsideration.com. If you have ever had the thought of maybe becoming your own boss, and not in a big way, maybe just a small or a part-time way, he's willing to answer any questions and give you free consultation as to what the world of franchising is all about. And so reach out to them. They're good people. They're sponsoring our show, and we love them to death. And
you know
what else? What can I say?
What more can you say?
What more can I say?
Well, I'm going to take the lead, and I'm just going to say, because it's our anniversary, thank you to our two fabulous kids and our fabulous daughter-in-law and wonderful, wonderful grandson. Thank you for loving us, and
yeah. And again, happy anniversary to you, and I hope that y'all will join us again next week. And if you want to see some of the other programs that we do, go to stuartsax.com and check it out. But thanks for being with us, and again, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.